Folks, I'm just going to talk to you this morning about selecting cows for breeding and not just relying on choosing bulls for breeding or replacement heifers. So just to look at why we would do this, and I suppose in the recent past, since the abolition of quotas, we've had rapid herd expansion. We had an emphasis on early born heifers. Now we still have this emphasis on early born heifers, but generally they were got from having a set period for dairy AI. So this generally was 4 to 5 weeks of dairy AI because we just didn't have enough heifers to fuel the herd expansion. So as a result, all cows, regardless of whether they were good or bad, got a dairy AI straw, and the resultant heifer calves then were taken into the herd. Whereas now we have more settled herds for, I suppose, well-heralded reasons. We need to, so we need to get more from the cows that we have in the herd. So I suppose we have sex semen now, which is, um, I suppose we've had a lot of progress in sex semen over the last few years. And as a result, farmers have gained a lot of confidence in using sex semen. So really, when it comes to breeding replacement heifers, this has been a game changer because you're nearly guaranteed heifer calves from your best cows. So what sort of traits are you looking to improve in the herd? For most people, it's they're looking at kilos of milk solids. I suppose when you look at the tier on average for 2024, the average milk solids on spring milk herds was 411 kilos. And likewise, the percentage of fat and protein we would like to improve. Or maybe on good milk herds, fertility may be an issue. So we would look at maybe improving the 6 week calving rate or calving interval on these herds. And cow size and herd health are also traits that farmers would like to improve. So here, what I'm going to do is run through an example herd of mine, and I suppose first of all we're going to look at the EBI herd report. So you can see the performance of this particular herd is 472 kilos. So it's quite a good herd. It's been bred by AI for years. You can see that there are decent butterfat and protein percentages, and that's all taken from the Co-op performance report. So what we wanted to concentrate on was one second, was this here, which is this is a cutting from the ICBF herd EBI report. So what we have here are the average figures for this particular herd. So just to have a run through some of the figures. We're looking at the milk figures and fat and protein. So what these figures mean along here is that these figures are in relation to the base cow. So when we look at the milk kilos, we're looking at 108 kilos better than the base cow. Likewise with the fat and protein kilos, they're also a nice bit better than where the base cow is. Um, Similarly with the percentages, they're quite good in this herd, and they all lead into this milk sub index. So all of these figures here contribute to this milk sub index figure. Likewise with milk, we have to keep an eye on fertility to make sure that these cows calve every year. So this, as I've said, this would take into account the survivability, the calving interval, and the 6 week calving rate in the herd. Other important figures on this report are the maintenance figures. With maintenance, this is to do with the cow size. The higher the maintenance figure, the smaller the cow. The lower the maintenance figure, the larger the cow. And then the last one there's a lot of emphasis being placed on it at the minute is the health figure within the EBI, and that is increasing in reliability every year. So I suppose overall here, what you have is the average of this particular herd. Now, as with all averages, half the cows in the herd are better than these figures, and half the cows are worse than these figures. So what we need to do is pick from the half the cows that are better when we're looking to breed dairy replacements, and the other half of the cows can get beef AI. So what are we looking for in these herds? So here we've a range of cows. Now this range of cows could be in any herd. These cows are from this particular herd. So just to run through them, can be cow A there. She's quite a milky cow, plus 260 kilos of milk. She produces very good fat and protein, but her percentages are down on the base cow. So her percentages are low. So she needs to produce a lot of milk to produce the same kilos of milk solids as a cow with higher percentages. Then we have cow B. This cow is she's minus 45 kilos for milk. Her butter fat and protein are quite low, so she's not going to kill herself milking for the year. These cows also are in every herd, and if you haven't been selective culling, and I know we all talk about selective culling, but in practice, there's very little selective culling going on in farms. By the time you account for empty cows, cows with somatic cell count issues, and lameness, there's very little room left for selective culling. So as a result, these cow bees remain in the herd, and what they do, they tend to calve every year at the proper time. They calve in February every year, and they go relatively unnoticed. And now you have cow C. Now this is, I suppose, the most desirable cow in the herd. She's positive for milk kilos. Her bottom fat and protein is quite good, and she has excellent percentages. So I suppose when we're picking cows then to breed from, the first cow we would chop off the list would be cow B. And then if we have enough cow C's in the herd, we wouldn't use cow A. But if we haven't got enough cow C's in the herd, we would use maybe a high fertility bull with very good percentages on cow A. So I suppose that's just a brief run through how we were picking the cows, I suppose in relation to 2 kilos of milk solids. Um, so now, for this herd, I've gone looked at the herd average. So the herd average is 172 EBI, and you can see when I've pulled out the best performing herd cows in this herd, we've jumped the EBI up to 217. And with that, the milk subindex, the fertility subindex has jumped. Now we're choosing for milk, and we're getting higher fertility. So, and then you can see over here at the end the 24 kilos versus 18 kilos. So it's another 25% roughly on top of the herd average. Um, so just to contrast this, I just going to show you the bottom 30% of the cows in the same herd. So you can see their EBI is back at 148. And when you scroll across here to where the milk solids are less than half what the best performing cows in the herd are doing. So you're making a huge jump forward with genetic gain in this herd, by eliminating these cows from the pool of cows you're going to use for breeding replacements. And I suppose then this poses the question, are all your maiden heifers genetically superior? And I suppose on average, when you look at your maiden heifers on your EBI report, yes, they are superior to the cows in the herd. But when you look at them individually, you may see this if you haven't been selecting your cows over the last number of years. What you will find is what I found in this herd. So you needn't worry about the numbers here, but what I just want to get across is each yellow line here is a maiden heifer. So on this farm, he roughly has about 20 maiden heifers, and six of them are showing up in the bottom 30% of females. So these, what we'd be recommending for these six heifers, would be to get beef AI. Um, so now just to bring it on a step, so what we're doing here now is we're going to put a bull team on the average and on the selected cows in the herd. So um, and this will give us our expected heifer calves for 2026. So when you put this bull team here, it's quite a good bull team, 334 EBI, and they're giving 36 kilos of milk solids on good percentages. When you put this on your average cows, look, you're bringing your EBI from 172 up to 260. And also all the sub indexes have increased along with it. And your milk solids, I suppose the trait that we were trying to improve for this particular farmer has gone from 18 up to 27. Um, Now, when we're using it on the best cows, you can see we get a further jump, so up to 276 in EBI down here. And likewise, the sub-indexes for milk and for fertility have also jumped. And you can see we're getting an even bigger increase in the percentages compared to where we were using them on the average cow. And the overall kilos of milk solids in heifers expected for 2026 is 30 kilos versus 27. Now, you might say that there's not much in it, but the reliability of this 30 kilos would be far greater than the reliability up here on this 27 kilos. Like you're on the 27, you're looking for an even between good and bad cows having heifer calves, but in reality, that may not be the case. You could have more poorer cows having heifer calves and would bring down the reliability of this figure here. So I suppose it's all pointing towards using your best cows to get the best heifer calves on the ground for 2026. Um, Now, just to put, I suppose, milk value on these heifer calves. So the heifer calves from the herd average are coming out around 540 the potential is 540 kilos of milk solids versus the heifer calves used on the best cows are coming out at 555 kilos. So there's a difference of 14 or 15 kilos. And you multiply that by the current milk price, you're looking at €91 per heifer per lactation. So all the work that you've done in getting these heifer calves is going to deliver you more money. And also going forward, the heifer calves out of these heifers are going to be far superior to the heifer calves out of the heifers produced on this side. So that's I suppose a quick run through how we're picking cows to use in the breeding season and the effect that it has on the resultant heifer calves. So I suppose in summary, we just need to think more about selecting cows. It's not all about picking bulls. And I suppose by not selecting our best cows, we are effectively slowing down the rate of genetic gain in the herd, and it doesn't cost any more. You're going to buy the same amount of straws as you would if you weren't selecting the cows. So if you select the cows, buy the same amount of straws, and maybe put a plan in place for this breeding season. We still have a month for most people to start the breeding season, and myself and Martin and Kay are available to give you a hand with this if you need it. Thank you.
That's perfect, Paul. So just a question there. If a farmer is using sex semen, how does it impact it on cow selection?
Um, I say if the farm is using sex semen, it will what it will do if I can go backwards here now. This these cows here for this particular farmer were picked because he wasn't using sex semen, so we had to pick um, a larger number of cows, which in turn was going to bring down um, the average figure of the best cows. Whereas if you were using sex semen, you could pick a smaller number of cows, and you will end up with I suppose a far superior cow selected for the breeding season. So it's just what sex semen does effectively is reduces the number of cows that you have to use for breeding replacement heifers, and therefore you can use the better cows in the herd, so you can move further up along the list.
That's perfect. So thanks very much, Paul. So